Hello once again, and welcome to Lessons from the Table. We are nearly at my 10th episode of this, which is an amount. Today I want to talk about creativity, because I think a lot of people do view Dungeons & Dragons as a vessel for creativity, and it totally is, man. I think that is one of the coolest things about D&D, is that it is a vessel for so many different kinds of creativity, right? Everyone has seen the player that comes to the table and they really challenge themselves. They have an accent, they've got this interesting character backstory, they want to play something, they want to become a fresh new character concept, this idea that they've just come up with, and it's amazing, right? And some dungeon masters build these incredible battle scenes, and you've got printed miniatures and everyone plays this out and it's really cool, and some people draw their characters and some people get art commissioned of the whole party, and some people don't. Some people have their battles by just drawing circles on a piece of paper and showing where things are, and the characters are an orc who is good at hitting things hard, and a snotty elf wizard, and a bard that bones everything that walks. That's fine. You actually don't have to be creative at all to play or run D&D and enjoy it. But I think that's something that people do forget. I know that I forget it sometimes because I like the parts of D&D that are so creative. It's a lot of what I like about it. But you don't have to be creative. And I think something that people really don't always get is you don't have to be creative to be a DM. You don't have to come up with a lot of stuff as a DM. I'm going to be completely honest. Hell, you can buy an adventure and just run that from the book. You don't have to come up with anything yourself. And that's perfectly fine. That's totally okay. Do that, in fact. Do that if you want to run D&D. Because the point is to run and, for your players, play a game of D&D, not to come up with the greatest D&D campaign of all time. I guarantee you, you are not going to be the person that comes up with it. That's nothing against you. It's just, what even is the greatest D&D campaign of all time? Is it one that anyone can sit down and enjoy? Or is it the one that your players are going to enjoy more than any other? Hell, you can't even define what that campaign is going to be. No one can make the greatest D&D campaign at all time. So don't try. You don't have to. Do come up with things if you want to come up with things, but don't sit there bothering, getting bothered if you're not coming up with these really great, cool, new, inventive ideas and amazing combat set pieces and yada, yada, yada. There is a lot of wisdom out there. And I assume that because you're watching this video, you consume a lot of that wisdom too. There are a lot of DMs who have already been doing this for years that can tell you how to make combats more interesting. And environmental effects, such as crumbling walls. Now, you can walk away from that video and go, I need to come up with some environmental effects. No, you don't. They just gave you one. Crumbling walls. Run a combat where the walls crumble. Just take it, wholesale. Who cares, right? The important thing is that now you've got this new combat, and the players, they go there and they're, doing the normal thing they do where they hit the bandits, and now the walls start crumbling. They're like, oh my goodness, here's this whole new element we have to react to. They're not going to go, rip that off from a DM on YouTube. That's not, if they are, then they're dicks, honestly. D&D is for having fun, right? It's for having fun, and if you adding new things to the combat is going to make it more fun for your players, do that. Just take it, all right? The great thing about D&D is it has been around for a long time now, and you know yourself, you are not the first person to ever run it. If you are having a problem, someone has had it before. That's probably why you're looking at these videos. Maybe you're looking for solutions to your problems or wanting to anticipate problems that might come up down the line. Someone's had that problem before, and they can tell you the solution. They don't have to be abstract either. They don't have to sit there and try and ease you towards it without telling you outright, have you considered this? Think about it like this. They can just tell you, yeah, the solution to that is to do this. If you want to have some puzzles to populate some dungeon rooms because you're putting together a dungeon and can't for the life of you think of anything, you can Google search D&D puzzle ideas and you'll get tons. Take some. If you want, modify them a bit, by all means. But also, you don't have to. You could just take it wholesale. If it works, it works. Why not, right? One of the great things about D&D is you don't have to be creative to have a game that is as good as what a really creative DM can run. Because you can just take exactly what they've come up with and run it at your table. They're not going to be offended. It's got no bearing on them, right? Hey, I came up with this cool thing. You used it too. I hope your players enjoyed it because I did it so that my players would enjoy it. The more people that can enjoy the thing I came up with, the better. Awesome. No DM is going to be offended about it. It's ridiculous. If they are, again, they're a dick. What can you do? And they also can't stop you from doing it, right? Unless they've got a copyright on a particular kind of puzzle, which in itself is a ridiculous concept. I know a lot of DMs do talk about the idea of stealing ideas, but I don't think we talk enough about why we steal ideas. I think often we still talk about that from the perspective of a creative person trying to do creative things. And we often talk about, oh, stealing ideas in this particular way, and then I do this, and I added this, and I dressed it up like this, and hey presto, I've got this whole new thing. We often talk about stealing ideas in the same way that, Creative Commons allows reuse with modification, right? You can take something, you can change it, and you can put it back out there. I did gestures for that. They were just below screen. Way to go, Matt. And that's often how we talk about stealing other people's ideas. What we don't talk about is, with Creative Commons, actually the more frequent allowance is reuse without modification. You can't change this. You have to take it as it is. But in D&D, we're often against taking it as it is. We feel like we have to change it. Otherwise, I don't know, we're worse DMs or something. No, you don't. Take it. I do that all the time. It's not just puzzles. It's other people's homebrew classes and subclasses. If I find something that's really cool, I'm like, awesome. I'll see if any of my players want to run it. I'll allow that for play at my games from now on. And when I sit down in session 0, I'll be like, here are the classes available to play. There's this from the PHP. Here's these homebrew classes. And maybe someone will be like, what's a warden? What's a seeker? What's a scholar? I want to find out what those are. Can I take a look at those? Maybe they won't play them. Maybe they will. Doesn't matter that I didn't make that class. Doesn't matter at all. When the players are solving a puzzle in a room, in a dungeon, it does not matter if I came up with that puzzle or not. It matters that my players enjoy the puzzle. And if a DM is willing to share it, well, it's probably because it went down well at their table. They've already quality controlled the content for you as well. What more could you want? That is the beauty of playing D&D in the 21st century, right? 2018. We have the internet. We have access to all this stuff. And there are hundreds upon hundreds of DMs out there discussing their games, creating YouTube videos to share their thoughts with other DMs out there. Tap into that. You're obviously already willing to. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Steal things wholesale. Take my ideas. Take other people's ideas. Take puzzles, take set pieces, take settings. We already do it when we purchase official Wizards of the Coast content, and we do so knowing that that's been, to a certain extent, quality controlled. And that's the thing. When you get it from another DM, like I said, odds are it's already relatively quality controlled. So I know that this is a bit more of a rant than a discussion, but I do think there's a perspective on that doesn't get discussed enough, and that's when you aren't a particularly creative person trying to create a campaign or a set piece or a combat for your players. Don't feel any pressure to come up with everything yourself or even anything yourself. If your entire campaign is a pastiche of things other DMs came up with first and ran before you, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you enjoy running it and your players enjoy playing it. If you achieve that, you are a good DM. I hope that puts some minds to ease, and I hope that takes a bit of the weight off your shoulders. I also hope it doesn't stop you from watching future videos now that you feel like you've got nothing to prove as a DM. But anyway, that's been me for this week. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.